Hey, I cannot believe my eyes. It is day 10 of the 16-day daily driver challenge. We at 75,399 on that mileage. And the car sounds good. I don't sound so good. I got a cold. Woo, mercy. Yeah, that's all right. I got enough medicine in me now. And a cup of coffee. I'm good. But we sitting on, man, I filled this thing up here recently. The gas gauge, she's working. We down to half a tank. But it sure is fun to drive it every single day. And you know, things are just things, stuff is just stuff. You know, you're supposed to use things and love people, love God. Don't try to turn that around and use people and use God and love things. That'd be altogether wrong right there. I fired her up this morning. I mean, started up immediately. We already warmed up there. Even after running for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, we still blow 180. It's 50 degrees outside. That oil pressure sitting right there at 28 pounds. Talked to my man, Jimmy Gray, last night. Had a great conversation with him, our engine builder. And it's amazing talking to people who know so much more than you do about a topic, something like that. Well, the gas gauge just dropped back to a quarter. I'm glad it works. Maybe that's, yeah, here, coming back up now and everything. I noticed on this thing, it looked like the voltmeter is actually, of course, these gauge is 39 years old, but that voltmeter does seem to work. But it charges great. I mean, I drove it night, rain. I drove it everything but the snow. Probably wouldn't do that unless I really had to. Some good tires would be fine if you're careful. But I talked to my man Jimmy last night. We're gonna get he's on the lookout for a tack for me. We can get a tack. I might be able to hook this factory one back up. I think the wire came loose or something like that somewhere. But these gauges are so old. Anyways, you say, George, pull it up here. We want to see the road. All right. 1 second here, get this light off so we don't blind me or somebody else. There we go. Woo, it is, I believe it's Thursday morning. I gotta be careful, all these cones and everything up through here. They're doing some construction on Clinton Highway. But it is day 10 in that 16-day challenge. And you know, I couldn't help but think, as I'm thinking about you motorheads and muscle car aficionados, and there's a whole lot of muscle in and around Knoxville, a lot of old cars. And I love, just like many of you, I love seeing them get driven. I saw one yesterday. It was a Pro Street 67 through 69 Z28 Camaro. I think it had at least a 500 cubic inch motor in it. Had nitrous on it, 1,000 horsepower, roll cage. It had everything. And I don't think it had ever been driven like ever. I mean, like ever. It was cute and nice, and it'd be very scary to drive. But I mean, I get it, and it was beautiful. But like, what's the point? I know there's a point. I mean, you know, I guess there's things in the Smithsonian for a reason. I mean, it's nice to look at, and it looked like it would absolutely tear it up, driving wise. But I don't think you're driving that to the Walmart or to church or to work. I mean, I guess you could, but probably get about 4 miles a gallon, which would be a pretty fun 4 miles to drive. But anyways, I mean, to each his own. I don't got to answer for them. They don't answer for me. But today, as you remember on yesterday's video, as you jump on here with me, is a very exciting day. Very exciting. We're finishing up a job. All right. One thing I like about these Monte Carlos, I never really realized, but these, especially the SS Monte Carlos, man, they handle good. I got just regular old school radial tires on this thing. If I put some of them Goodyear Eagle GTs like came on it, I don't even think they make those anymore, but something comparable, put those on here since the suspension isn't modified, this thing will handle like a monster. I'm telling you, and it already does. It handles beautifully for something that's got this kind of age on it. It's like a police car. You know, all got the special sway bars and special shocks and suspension. Of course, some of that stuff's original, needs replaced, no doubt, to really get her to where it would be ideal, but it handles great. I see all these fellas got these resto mods, Chevelles and Mustangs, where they got the old cars and they put the new engines in them. I realized the other day driving this thing, it's kind of like that. I mean, it ain't got all that fuel injected, LS, electronic nonsense. I said nonsense. It's just got old school muscle with some new school, I don't know if you want to call it new school, not being a 700R, but it, got the overdrive, and which it came with overdrive, the 200R transmission, but it's got the 700 now, so it can hold up to that 425 horsepower. But you can have your cake and eat it too. It's got the motor in it, that 383 stroker, like Chevrolet. If they would have had some common sense in '84, in the 80s when these cars came out, they'd have put a good motor in them. But of course, everything was smog this and smog that, computer control. They looked good, but they were so slow. With the 305 in them, it wouldn't hardly fall out of a tree if you pushed it. But you can hook it to a tree now and pull the whole tree down. Oh, George, you a nut. I know. Oh, hopefully I'm screwed to the right boat. And that's true right there, Lord Jesus. But anyways, thanks for jumping on here. Day 10, we still going. Oh, when I was a kid, I got to tell you this right here. When I was a kid, which ain't been that long ago, and I had my first muscle car. Some of y'all, if y'all watching this thing, Brian Sharp, Jeff Boyd, Alan Boyd, especially Brian and Jeff Boyd, aka Monkey Boyd. I had that 70 GTO, had that old stock 455 in it, 4-barrel, 256 rear end, and a turbo 400 maybe. I think it had a 400 in it, yeah. And down there on the dash, below the dash where the gauges will be, my uncle had put a little on-off switch. And we tried to give old Jeff Boyd a hard time because he was putting together a Dodge Dart, like a 69 Dodge Dart Swinger. And it was a cool car. He was putting that together. And I was one of the first ones to get my license. I was a couple years older than them old boys. And that little switch, that little on-off switch, this has been a few years ago. Me and Brian told a whopper. I told a whopper. We told him it was nitrous oxide. Oh, yeah. George done went and got an old primer and 70 GTO, got nitrous on it. I flipped that switch on it and blow your doors off. That was just a reverse light switch. It was terrible. I was not honest at all. Of course, I didn't know the Lord Jesus. But, yeah. So what's that have to do with all this? I'm trying to remember where I was going with all that. Now here's why I was in the trunk. So we telling everybody, we got nitrous in the trunk. We'll flip that switch on you and everything else. Well, this morning, as I'm driving down the road here, oh, mercy, I got to get the GoPro. Something up under my gas pedal there. I think it's called the floor mat. I got something in the trunk this morning to make this one go even faster. I must be crazy. I ain't trying to make it any faster. It's already the fastest car I've ever owned in my life, which, hey, there's a lot faster ones out there, but I got a feeling that they wouldn't survive the 16-day daily driver challenge. They'd be broke down on the side of the road, which SoGals needed a little help with the few little repairs here and there, getting the bugs out. But what's in the trunk, George? Is it the trunk monkey? You say trunk monkey. We'll have to talk about that at another time. That's our friends. I can't remember the Chevrolet Auto Group with the trunk monkey. I got something in the trunk. It ain't the trunk monkey. It ain't a so-called nitrous bottle. Well, I wouldn't put nitrous on this one. It's already violent enough if you take off. But I was able to swing by my friend Jimmy's house, and he'd been to Performance Products, and I got a Brawler in the trunk. Now some of y'all know what that is, and some of y'all don't. I've been out of this for a long time. I didn't know what a Brawler was until, when I first got this car back in March. But a Brawler is a polished 750 Holley double pumper. It's got the clear sights on both sides of the float bowls, mixture screws on the front and back, double accelerator pumps, and electric choke. That's right. We ain't gonna have no non-electric choke. I'm too old for not being able to warm your car up. But we got that 750 double pumper. Now I got this 750 street machine carburetor. Got it dialed in pretty good. Jimmy adjusted it some last night. And I'm gonna sell that probably 200 bucks. But these carburetors have got so expensive. Have mercy. This thing has set you back $600. I'm like, you could buy a nitrous kit back in the day. Not that I ever had one. Brian has some. Looks like it got wet here. I gotta be careful in the rain in this thing, because she will get real with you in the rain and the slickness. We almost had a real accident on the way home from Rod Run last time, so we gotta watch this. But yeah, I got that brawler in the trunk. I almost had time at the church to put it on last night, but we didn't. So, ooh, it's definitely wet here. It's like the burnout box at Knoxville Dragway, or Eastside Speedway if you're in Virginia, which is closed. Brian, by the way, if you're listening, man, you need to go on and buy that thing like you was thinking about way back in the day and reopen it. But that's another story for another time, unless somebody else has already got it. Ooh, I felt a little slippage there. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Told you I need some new radial tires. This is where it gets a little, you gotta be real careful. I ain't got a spool in this rear end or anything, but that positive traction rear end, them gears, and it can be like ice when it's wet. I definitely got to get some tires with a little more bite. They got good tread, but they hard, they old, but they ain't dry rotted or nothing. Anyways, sorry about all that. Ramble. Most folk ain't making it this far in the video anyways. I got that 750 double pumper, brand new. And got me a carburetor spacer to raise it up just a little bit, ½ inch up off the intake. Edelbrock and Holly don't play well together sometimes, but we're gonna put that spacer on there, put that carburetor on there, and it already runs great. And I think it'll idle just a little bit better. As a matter of fact, I'm sure it will. And it will have absolutely no hesitation with that double pumper. No vacuum secondary to fool with, etc. and so forth. But yeah, we're gonna, Lord willing, stick that on there, and possibly today. So stay tuned. Oh, remember, by the way, if you watching this video and you made it this far, Lord willing, when we take a lunch break, today's the last day over here at West Hills. Over here, finished up a beautiful paint job for Regal Painting, painting a brick house white. But when we finish up and take a lunch, Lord willing, we headed over to meet our friends at the Waggles. And a certain young lady that used to have one of these cars way back in the day. They come young people going to school. Used to have one of these back in the day. We have promised her a test drive. So stay tuned. And if you want to test drive in this thing, and you're interested in buying, you know, we can't just have all kind of folk driving it. But if you're interested in buying it, hit me up, 865-679-8173. Or send me a message through Facebook Messenger if you got questions, etc. Just comment below this post, and I'll do my best to get back with you. But stay tuned. I can't wait to see when I'm sitting over here in this side, and she's sitting up here, or I might be in the back if Dave comes with me. Can't wait to see her reaction when she gets that big pedal way down there. Hopefully we don't have no po-po like she talked about. Well, have a great morning. We're about to turn left on Middlebrook. Appreciate you jumping on such a long ride in the Monte Carlo SS. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.